Welcome to another enticing episode of The Keys to Your Home. I'm your host, Blake Jesse, and as always, I'd like to take the time to thank those who have been joining us over these last few episodes, and a special thanks to those who are joining us for the first time. We hope that you find this information relevant and helpful, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. All right, so today's topic is going to be a really fun one. Today is actually what I do for my buyer clients, how I help them get the best possible deal at the best possible time while making the transaction fun for everybody involved. So let's get started. I want to start by letting you know that my services are 100% free to anybody buying or leasing, whether that happens to be an apartment, a home, a townhouse, a condo, whatever it is. My services are free to buyers and leasers, which kind of brings up the question, why wouldn't you use a professional? I get it. At the end of the day, anybody can find a property that they like on Zillow or Trulia or HAR, but how do you know if the property's priced right? Do you know each step of the process and how to use the seller's motivation to your advantage in negotiations? Or what would you do if your lender, his appraisal came under value and you were unable to get the funds to close? Well, that's where a professional like myself comes in. You see, I do this stuff about 12 hours a day, 6, sometimes 7 days a week. So I have a strong passion for learning and figuring out a new way to do each and everything throughout the process. So I do have remedies for everything that could go wrong, which will, in the long run, minimize your stress as much as possible. So on to the actual process of what I do. Regardless of where the lead comes from, whether it's a referral, a family or friend, or a cold call, I treat everybody the same when it comes to my high level of customer service and professionalism, and that they certainly deserve that. So after a phone call that results in a lead, I'll typically schedule a meeting, and during this initial meeting, we'll do what we call in the industry a qualification. Here, I gather some general information such as time frame, target area and price, why they want to be a homeowner, motivation, and a little bit of figuring out of who the client is and what they do themselves, just to kind of build a little bit of personal relationship, because I do find that very important. At the end of the day, this will save us a multiple of time, since each of our time is very valuable. And if they are unable to purchase after our initial meeting, I'll let them know, whether that happens to be they don't have enough funds, they don't make enough money, they have bad credit, whatever it happens to be, I'll go ahead and point them in the right direction to make sure that they can be a homeowner as soon as possible. For example, I find it quite often that a lot of people my age don't have the funds for a down payment. Well, at this point, I would suggest gift funds from a family member. You can sign up for a down payment assistance program. And there's a few other number of remedies that could be used in this situation. But on the other hand, if you are able to purchase, the first step is to absolutely get in contact with a trusted lender and get pre-approved for a loan. I have suggestions for these lenders. Quick shout out to Jared, Wes, Jeff, and Richard. Hi guys. But my clients are free to use the lender of their choice. The reason that you want to be pre-approved is it makes your offer much stronger when we get to that point of the process and allows you to really see what you can afford, and again, comes back to the value of each of our time. So after you're pre-approved, I'll set up a search that meets your criteria and send you properties over that I've screened that meet their preferred criteria, which are the top 5 wants and needs, while also avoiding the top 5 deal breakers or absolutely nots. And I like to set the record straight here. There's no such thing as a perfect house. If something has 90 to 95% of what you want, that is a perfect house. You'll always be able to find something wrong, even with a $25 million home in River Oaks on a 10-acre lot. There's going to be something wrong, whether it be traffic or something. So after that, the next step is the second most fun of them all, behind actually opening the door to your new home for the first time. This is the search. We'll check out as many homes as a client would like. Typically, it's about 12 to 15 homes, and you can imagine things will start to blur together. So I'll make sure everything's clean and organized. That way we don't get anything mixed up from house to house. Once we find a house that you absolutely love, that's when my value really begins to shine. At that point, we'll sit down and have a conversation about the offer we should like to submit. I'll give you my best professional opinion on what I believe we should offer regarding prices, conveyances, fixtures, closing time frame, you name it. I'll have a strategic suggestion on how I feel we should proceed. Once an offer is submitted, it's either going to be accepted, rejected, or most commonly, a counteroffer. When a counteroffer comes back, that's when negotiations begin. With your best interest in the forefront of my mind, of course. I'll heavily analyze the other agents and sellers' personality type and motivation so we don't offend them, we can have some leverage, and of course keep our chances of our offer getting accepted as high as possible. If the offer is accepted, I'll organize the remaining steps such as inspections, appraisals, home warranties, mortgage insurance, and all the other things that go along with that to fit your schedule as best as possible. Then, once everything is handled, we're finally at the closing table and you take possession of your new home. I'll typically give my clients a relevant and thoughtful gift upon closing, and they typically gift me back a lifelong friendship. So that's kind of the idea in a nutshell. There's a lot more that goes into it, so if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me and I'll be more than happy to answer those. I apologize for the length of this episode, but I hope it was as helpful as I think it has been. Thank you for joining me today. Please click around for my website or give me a contact if you are interested in buying, selling, or leasing or investing. And take care. As always, I make your realty dreams a reality. Thanks again.